It's gonna be absolutely interesting. But, ladies and gentlemen, you need a breather. We're about to move on.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.
Yeah, buddy,
Love it. Love it.
ladies and gentlemen, and we got our guy on here, so you already know we had to bring back the
Mhm.
fan favorite segment, ladies and gentlemen, like it, love it, or
Hated it.
yeah, buddy, with my guy Ab Lowe is back. Ben said, with injuries to the defense, it may force Del Rio to be more creative defensively. I do agree that JDR's defense has no seasoning for its meat. If you see what I mean, I'm too food reference heavy on my analogies. So I like it.
Who
Yeah,
is that?
He wrote in, but Ben Cornett, and he wrote in
yeah,
about offense too, and we got in like it, love it, hate it. We got like we're gonna get into a little more too. He's right, and I think we agree with kind of what he said.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
oh
got
yeah.
good points. I didn't. I'm glad you put that up there because I was like, oh man, we're about to move on, and he had some good stuff.
I saw it. Yo, shout out to him, man. He gets on. Sometimes he gets on from time to time, just from work, and we'll just talk on the subject and talk on certain things. He's out there with Alex Loosemore, Johnny Dean, and those guys, man, really putting in some good work. Definitely check them out. Please do that, yo. But don't like it, love it, hate it. For those of you that don't know, we have a couple topics that we will bring up, and we'll all just kind of give our position on it. Obviously, it's a like, a love, or hate, and then kind of give a little talk about how why we feel the way we do. The first thing we're going to talk about right now is the players on their own pup list. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't understand, the pup is the players unable to perform list. Right now, Chase Young is on that list. Tyler Lawson, Chase Roulier, and Logan Thomas. I'm going to come to you first, Ab. What do you are you like it, love it, or hate it? What is your reaction to any to this?
I hate it, but not for the reason what you guys may think. I know everyone points out Chase Young. Oh
Mm,
man, that's a bummer. I understand that is a bummer. His backup is a seventh round pick. We have like five of them, so it's either one of them. So seventh round pick or undrafted free agent. So it's not something that we're looking up to. I know that sucks, but again, I'm not. I'm not focused on that. Logan Thomas, yeah, that sucks too. But I am not looking at that as the main reason why I hate this. Like he's our starting tight end, but my thing is we have some okay, okay, a little relevant young bucks that may be vying for his job next year. So to me, this is not bad either. Like okay, come back when you can because he had the ACL and the hamstring last year or something like that. So it's so honestly, mend up. Come on,
yep.
this is bad, guys, because our first string and our second string center is out
Mm,
for the start of the year.
mm,
Like Chase Roulier apparently like it's his injury is more worse than everybody's trying to don't like there's really no news about it, but pretty much he broke his leg and pretty much broke his ankle too or
mm,
something like
mm.
that. And it's just
Yeah.
god awful. Like and then Larson, he hurt himself right after Roulier did
Yeah,
it. So you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He tore his ACL right after that.
Achilles.
So we can't expect these like to me, I don't expect these guys before week 6. I
Yeah.
really don't. Not one bit. So to me, and his backup is West
Schweitzer.
Schweister. Yeah.
Swiss.
Swiss cheese.
Swish, 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 swish.
Honestly, I cannot be mad at this dude. I
Yeah.
cannot be mad at him. He's no slouch. He does okay work when he had to come in for the guards. So honestly, I kind of expect that when he jumps in at center, my man is going to do work. I feel it in my heart, but it just sucks that your first string and your second string at center is out. And honestly, He's one of the most important people in line. No one talks about the center, but the
Mhm.
guy hikes the ball to the quarterback. So that means he has no chemistry with this quarterback, guys.
Mhm.
None.
Yeah.
And that's something that you got to pay attention to, because like honestly, I know it don't take long for it to happen, but it may not take long for it to happen, but still, this training camp is quality time, guys.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah.
So that's why I hate this.
Oh yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Will, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean it's an easy hate,
Mhm.
and I do come from the side of you see our the face of the franchise, the guy that Chase Young on there, and this means that they can't practice. Obviously,
Yeah.
they can't even be out there doing drills and shells. Like he is not. He has to be on the sidelines. So the NFL changed up some of their rules this year, and with
Yeah.
COVID, they really revamped a lot of the roster rules. And when can players come back? With the idea that you may have players in and out of the lineup based on being sick. So when they revamp the information or the pup list is you cannot practice, which we've established. If you're on this at the start of the season, you must miss 4 games. It used to be 6, so they have shrunk that a little bit. Um, I think the reason why I hate this is I think we've got a couple players on here who are absolutely going to be on this at the regular season.
Mhm.
They can come off this at any time during training camp and be, practicing and whatnot. But I don't think Chase Young is going to get off this.
Mhm.
He tore his ACL in November. We found out that he had to have surgery during, at some point, they had to take grafts from his good leg to his bad leg, and that was kind of a new development. He also tore his ACL in a non-contact play, which generally
Mhm.
they say kind of has the most concern. And so
Yeah.
I also think he needs to recognize that you don't have to do the all-in for week 1 thing.
Yep.
You know, 12 months later it would be November. So, players are recovering quicker from ACLs. And so I think he's going to be on this pup list to start the season. I think we may see him if we're lucky before week 8. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think he's going to miss half a season. So I hate that,
Yeah.
for him. When it comes to Tyler Larson, yeah, you're right, Ab. He tore his Achilles, and he's going to come back and play. I don't think he's going to make the roster this year because of this.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be ready to play. Now, the next two, I'm not as concerned about. I'm hearing Logan Thomas. There is almost to the point where they really think he's going to be ready for week 1, which
Mm.
is great news. And that's new from the offseason. That was, we were not thinking that in the offseason because he too tore his ACL later in the year. But I guess his rehabs are all different, is what they're saying. And Ron even said it yesterday that Logan looks to be on track for week 1, and Chase Roulier was out walking with his fiance on Great Falls Park. If you've got a broken ankle and all that stuff, you're probably not going to be doing some of those movements. Totally different than football. I get it. But I think he's coming along. Although Roulier did say, hey, I got to be careful with this. This was a gnarly injury that really set me back a little bit. I'm not so worried about the last two as much. I think they'll be ready for week 1, but the first two, absolutely. I think we're going to have to do some roster construction because of it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. No. No. I hate it just because one of the things that we've been working for coming into this year is the experience of having we've been a young team in the last couple of years. One of the things that Ron Rivera has talked about over the last couple of years is that he's worried about maturity. One of the interviews he said recently is that he's not worried about that as much as here. He's worried about us kind of building on the experience of being there together those 2 years, winning a division championship in one year, and then kind of moving through this. So honestly, I kind of I hate it because I just like you said, Young is probably not going to be back. And the two Tyler Larson and Roulier, you know how I feel about my own line, guys. So I the more the merrier. So this is gonna may cause me to have to go back and bring some more guys in there. But that is some depth is another key. But with Logan Thomas, also I haven't heard that he's gonna come back. I've heard more that he might not make it back for this. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see on that, but that's another position where we have guys that are there that are we planned for this with getting Hodges, Samus Reyes. We can see what he has, and then Cole Turner. to go along with John Bates. So that's like you said, that's not going to hit as much. But it's just I just hate it because it's just injuries is what we always talk about.
Injuries. What is that?
You know
What
what I
we
mean?
talk about? Yeah, exactly. We're
Injuries.
starting with injuries, and there's
And-
3 starters on
Yep.
the you can't practice list.
Right. Now, I am one thing I can't say. I know this is not a part of like 11 Haven. One thing I can't say that I like is that Curtis Samuel is not on this list because that's somebody
Yes.
that we need to have him on the field. Because when we talk about Terry McLaurin, if Curtis Samuel is going to be that the Robin to his Batman, you know what I mean? And I've seen they got a couple plays for him, and I'm excited about that. I'm
You're
excited
so
about
right.
that.
And he didn't practice in minicamp.
Yeah.
And so he was off to the side, and then there was this whole like, oh no, are we going through this again with this guy? But you're right. When he didn't show up on it, and he practiced today, like, oh my gosh, we're already better than we were last year.
Right. Yo, so we are going to move on to the next segment of our next question. I like 11. Hey, the Vegas stat lines for Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Adam, coming to you. They say Chase Young 7.75 and Montez Sweat 6.5. Ab, what are your thoughts? And what would you take, the over or the under? Like, where are you at on this?
So I hate it because it's so low, but Chase Young's seems understandable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I think that is, I might think it's too high for him. It might be too high for him, depending on the number of games he comes back for. Honestly, especially and then you have sometimes that guys are limited after an ACL tear.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So to me, he might not be the same person. He might be favoring that leg again. You get what I'm saying? Like making those turns around those tackles. I don't like it because it's low. So I'm gonna say hate it, guys. Montez Sweat, I hate it because this is low for him, especially if he has a full year, 6.5, especially semi-contract year. Yeah, this dude needs to put up at least double digits in order to get a respectable contract next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I know. I feel you. Me personally, I'm gonna go. So I like it because Chase at that level, that's optimistic. Because like you said, Ab, I don't. That's a lot to expect because we don't even know when he's gonna come back. Much less. Look, his best year, the year he won, Rookie of the Year, he got 7.5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he didn't have the 16 sack season, when dominating something like that. So for that, I'm fine with that. I agree with the Montez thing, and I want the over for Montez because the third year, he's one of the ones that's like, you've been here each year, you've produced each year, now you take the next step. But the reason why I like it is because it's not 48 or 49 sacks that they said they were going to try to get last year. And that's the story now. We're getting all this. No, I like it because it's realistic. If we do better than this, there we go. If we do worse for Chase, I'm fine. For Montez, like you said, we're going to have that conversation, man, because you need to get better. Period. Oh. Is he still getting braid? What happened last time, Kate? That we saw Tampa? Kate, what happened when we saw Tampa last? Can you tell me? What was the score? Do you know? Did you always score 20 points?
Taylor Heineke beat Tom Brady. Let's remember
go.
that.
Let's go.
Let's just remember that.
What did he say? He said, that's what I do. Let's get it. Will, man, what are you thinking about this?
Yeah, so I'm with you, Sean. I'm thinking the same way. And even when Ab said, we're like, this is low, but I love this because it's not these outrageous numbers. I also got to say, like, depending on what they say, what the payout is on this. So Jack and I are going to put in a parlay this year on a couple different bets. And so I hope if you're listening, Jack, we got to keep this in mind because I am going to pound the over on Montez Sweat. I think he's getting forgotten about here. If you're putting him in at 6.5 sacks, so like, and he's like Ab said, he's gotta do better than that if he wants to get paid. So I love that part of it. And with Chase Young, we just don't know when he's going to get back right now. So I would have to say I don't think he's going to get close to 8 sacks, 7 sacks in the season because he's just too unknown right now.
Yeah.
So, but I like the fact that we have low expectations of our defensive ends. Let's do that this year. We need that.
Let's keep it here, so because we know where we've been.
Yeah.
Yo, and I mean sticking with the overalls, and I'll start on this one. The overall thoughts on the offense. I love it. In fact, I'm in love with it. And we all know I was the one who hyped up Fitzpatrick last year, and I only got like a quarter out of him. You know what I mean? So it's a little cautious optimism, but I am excited because there are so many different weapons. There are so many different ways for us to like exploit the defense, and I'm excited on what could happen this year. I'm optimistic about Carson. I'm optimistic about Terry McLaurin, Curtis, Jahan Dotson. Like we haven't even discussed him and how how amazing he's looking and how everybody's saying. And I don't know. He's I was listening to something today and I was kind of thinking, and one of the announcers was Santana Moss, and I kind of thought short, slot, speed.
Snatches the ball in the air.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I love this. I love it. I'm so excited to see what happens. Will, I'm gonna come to you first. What's like it, love it, or hate it? Overall thoughts of the offense.
I'm loving this offense. It feels like we actually finally have a modern NFL offense where for the last like 4 years, you go back to 2017, we've had a legit NFL offense when it was Kirk throwing to Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, and Jamison Crowder. So we've just been down in the dumps, and so I'm excited for it because I think Carson and I think Scott Turner are going to show that we've got something going. But I'm also going to say this. I love it because our bar is so low on offense.
Yep.
I mean, look what we've been watching for the last couple of years out there with Alex Smith not knowing our offense and pushing the ball downfield. And then how many quarterbacks did we have in Dwayne's rookie year? And how many quarterbacks did we play the year that we finally had one-legged quarterback leading us to the playoffs? And then we had, Heineke, who just doesn't throw the ball downfield. Like the bar's so low, like we have to be better.
Yeah.
I am going to say this. You all are really, really hyping up our aerial attack, and I'm taking the other way. I think we're going to be a little bit more conservative ground and pound with the exception of Terry. I look back at this team, and this is the easy comparison. Y'all can be like, man, I hate this. Back when Ron was with the Panthers, and he had two running backs, D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, and Steve Smith at wide receiver. And then there was like nobody else, and it was like those guys.
Greg Olsen
had a
tight end.
So I see where I think we're going to have Gibson got to be our lead guy. I think McKissick and Robinson are going to spell him and get a lot of carries. I think Terry's going to get a lot of action. But then after that, I think Dotson's going to make impactful plays. Samuel's going to make impactful plays. But it may not be huge racking up stats for us. Right. I think De'Ami Brown's going to be Aldrick Robinson for us. He's going to get forgotten and run past people.
Yes.
Okay? And that's what I'm looking for out of him. So I think we've got all these weapons that I'm excited about. We haven't even gotten into the Logan Thomas and Cole Turners, first down and red zone threats. Then I think it's just going to kind of dilute everyone's stats. So that's where I love the offense because I think we're going to ground and pound with the exception of Terry really bowling out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. Ab, what are you thinking, man?
Real quick, what year was that, Will?
Which one?
The comparison you just did with Ron's last offense.
In Carolina, I have no idea. I'm going based on my recollections.
Okay, just making sure. I'm just looking. I looked at the 2012 season where they both were both in, but they had Cam Newton too, so that's a little bit different. Yeah, he's running the ball also a whole hell of a bunch too. But to me, I love this only because, just like Will said, the expectations are so low. Mm-hmm. Honestly, unless you know this offense, unless you know Carson Wentz's contract, unless you know everything that's on the line for this offense, the expectation being so low is very, very good. It makes it so that we're not as disappointed. Again, you have to know all the details of everything in order to be really disappointed and to have a higher expectation than what everyone else's expectations are. Did I make sense?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
You have to understand where they're at. Yes, I get it. We're good.
Okay. So to me, I know what I see on the field. I know what I'm looking for on the field. I know that Carson Wentz's contract is not guaranteed after this year. So I know that he's basically on a contract year trying to play, and this is like his all-in year right now. Mm-hmm. Everything's on the line this year. So everything is for all the marbles this year, but everyone don't expect much from us. Like, so we're actually that team creeping up on everybody. Like, honestly, I predict we're, except for the first 2 games, I don't think we're going to be expected to win much of anything else all year. So to me, this is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? This is a great way to be underdogs. I like being underdogs. I spent all my wrestling in high school as an underdog, so I love it. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, if you just keep fighting for everything, that's all that matters. If everyone does that, then honestly, we're going to be a lot better than what people expect. And that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Absolutely. Now, coming right back to you. Now, what are your thoughts about the defense? Are you that positive?
Oh, hell no. No.
You like it, love it, or hate this?
No. The thoughts on the defense, I think they're right where they're at. Like, I don't think like our linebackers were sus last year. Mm-hmm. Our best player on the defensive line is probably out, other than Jonathan Allen. You know, like with Deron Payne, the situation with him, like that's up in the air. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. That's like he's on his contract.
They have Jacob Panazek. So Jacob Panazek from Michigan State. They have him. I know he's gonna do something.
Okay, so to me, the defensive line is sus because of what we talked about earlier. We have a whole bunch of backups and 7th rounders and undrafted free agents as a defensive end. I think we should go out and get somebody. I think we should get somebody for linebacker also. Mm-hmm. Honestly, our safeties and defensive backs are the only ones that look like they might do something, but they're going to be tired because no one can get to the quarterback. So if you're covering your wide receiver for over 3, 4, 5 seconds, then the defensive line is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like no one is. Darrelle Revis and Deion Sanders aren't that good to cover a cornerback for over 5 seconds, guys. Right. So defensive line needs to do what they're supposed to do. And I just don't see it happening. I don't see a lot of pressure happening between that and the linebackers.
Yeah. I hear you. Will, what do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm in agreement with you, Ab. And I think it's interesting. If you see what Nate has written here, he's suspect about our offense, but he's thinking top 15 defense. So we're going to have to get him on and hear a little bit more about this because I'm not sure. I'm not understanding what you're seeing, Nate. So I want to hear more about it.
But top 15 is mediocre. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, if he said 10, then we'd be arguing. But 15 is.
I'll take top 15 though, honestly.
I will too. You know I will. I just don't see it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't either. Like, think about this. 1 year, 365 days ago, we sat here saying our defense, our defensive line, how many sacks we got, who's gonna throw on us, and look where we're at now. And we're saying like this defense is sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like, when we were going through our 53. I'm struggling to find players to put on defense. And this is, it's like during the offseason, I kind of had this trust the process, look, to it. And I'm looking at some of these guys, and it's like, I think Jamin Davis is going to make a step up this year. I think that they only want to play 2 linebackers at a time. Sean, your boy Cole, and Jamin, They're going to be featured. They can run. They're athletic. I think we're going to see improvements there because, by golly, we better. Because if we don't, we're in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
You guys know this with me and the secondary. I think William Jackson will be better, and Kendall Fuller and BSJ, when he's playing, they're good. I've never been a fan of Bobby McCain, but he's going to get a full year in that position at free safety, so I got to give him a chance. But I don't have the highest expectations of our safeties. I love Cam Curl, but Percy Butler, Derek Forrest, Jeremy Reeves, I don't know. I'm starting to look at this roster and being like, this is kind of weak. Yeah. We'll get to the 53, so I don't want to say too much, but it's just, I look at this defense and I'm like, this is not good. And there are players out there. If we need a linebacker, there is Landon Collins out there. There's an Anthony Hitchens. If you just need someone to make tackles, you could go get Joe Schobert if you need to. There are some players out there. And Ab, just like you said, our backup defensive ends are 7th-round picks and undrafted free agents. I know they like them, but that doesn't make me feel good about this roster. No. It's just wild how we just flipped it from 1 year. It's like I'm looking at this saying, man, we are dependent on our stars being stars out there and making plays, and maybe it can happen. But I will say this because I protected him last year. I defended him last year. Jack Del Rio is on the clock this year.
Yep.
You better show up and do something because, one, we don't need your Twitter account and your stupid mouth blasting off. You already talked us in other ways. But more importantly, we need you to show up as a defensive coordinator and do something with us.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it shows. I mean, we've got multiple people in the comments talk about his offenses or his defense is vanilla. You know what I mean? He's not doing anything. Ab, you mentioned it before as well. He needs to step up. He's on the hot seat, especially if we're going to talk about Rivera being on the hot seat or maybe not being given as many more years after this if he doesn't succeed. Del Rio definitely has to be looked at. Look, I'm not excited about this defense. We know we're very offense and like you said, stud heavy. So I want to be optimistic. My guy, Cole Holcomb, you know what I expect from him. I'm definitely looking at that secondary as something big, but until we get Chase back and a healthy Chase back, which might be late in the season, I'm just not really, I'm kind of I'm hoping. Jonathan Allen, let's see, what can he do? He had a great year last year. Can he get more on that? Deron Payne, we know about the contract issues and all that. Hey, is he going to ball out this year and do something? And then the rookie Fedarian Mathis, with Montez, who, like you said, Ab, needs to have a monster year. Look, I told you before, I'm relying on that secondary, but I'm expecting us to struggle and for us to be upset with our defense a lot this year. So I'm not excited about what is coming. But, hey, there's still some cautious optimism in there because maybe we'll be able to shine. I think they'll shine at certain times. We'll see. Thanks for watching. If you liked that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.